What up, my G's? I hope everybody's having a great day. Welcome back to the channel. We're back with another video in Tier 1. Today we're racing in Mexico. It's a 50% race and I am on controller with no assists. You guys know the vibes. Currently choosing my strategy. What will I go on? Looks like I'm gonna go with the mediums on the first stint and the softs on the second stint. It will turn out that most of the drivers in this race chose the same strategy. Lining up for the formation lap. Today we are racing against some of the best drivers on this track in the world. When you take into consideration their time trial times.
Okay, so let's go through all
my bads.
we need to make sure
We're lining up in 17th place after short qualifying.
tires and brakes. We need to get
This is kind of where I expected to be in this race. I expected to be a little bit behind these guys. They, as I said, some of the best in the world, and I'm apparently not. So that's how it goes. We're at the back. Hopefully we can be consistent and take advantage of some of their mistakes. Coming back around, about to line up at the grid for that first lap of the race here in Mexico. As I said, it's a 50% race. I'm racing on controller with no assists. Hopefully I can get back to a place in my life where I have a sim rig again, but we're doing what we can with what we have. Let's get it. And the lights are on. And we got lights out, getting a very good start, almost instantaneously gaining a couple positions. Looks like I let off right here. Trying to be cautious going into turn 1. I know that it's going to be tight. We got helis on the right side of us. Someone spinning out, taking advantage, already moving up a position because of that. It looked like Zivan who made a mistake and perhaps spun out. Heli's on our left hand side, giving him a little space into turn 3, if I'm not mistaken. Getting tight right here, getting the overtake on 2 cars at once. Giving him a little space. Just enough space so that I don't push him off the track, giving him more space going into the S-bends. Trying to stabilize my car, keeping it in 6th place, going a little wide here and exposing myself to Heli is just behind me. He's only a 10th behind us at the moment, so what can I do going into the last stadium section of the track of this race? We got Martin de Brain in front of us, and I'm trying to perhaps take advantage of any mistakes that he might make, knowing that I might not have as much pace as they do, but in terms of consistency and what I know about racing in general, I feel like I could overtake the guy or just keep consistent and take advantage of any mistakes he makes. He is on hard tires by the looks of it, so at the end of the day, he will be lacking a lot of grip at the moment, trying to keep those tires up to speed. There's been a little bit of an incident right there. It looks like Arc.
Just be careful.
Making a little mistake on the exit, going a little bit too hard on that exit and paying the price. Safety car. So we were behind the safety car for 2 laps. Moving on to lap 3, almost going into the back of Olympic behind the safety car right there, but narrowly avoiding him. About to get going again after the safety car on lap 4. This was a really difficult race, really difficult to keep those tires up to temp behind the safety car, and we finally get going again. behind Olympic, going into lap 5.
Take button more. It's time to utilize some of the...
Can we take advantage of any mistakes they might make, seeing they are in a battle at the moment and they will definitely be losing time at this stage of the race. Going into turn 1 into the chicane, getting it nice and tight, losing the rears a little bit and into the back of Womb Puzzle. We having to let off a little bit. We got Helly's making the overtake. My bad, it's Zivan. He had a lot of connection issues during the course of this race, so it was really hard to actually track what he's going to do next because of the desync of some sort. So that was a little unfortunate. It lost me a couple seconds, but at the end of the day, sometimes you just gotta be cautious just in case it's an error on your end instead of his end. So going into the S-bends. Looks like I've got it all wrong and went wide right there. Now we got Aphrodite about to make that overtake. Going up the inside, 100%. You could just tell that was going to happen after I lost so much time going through the S's, and there's nothing I could do to defend that position. Going around that last sector quite steadily. After having to give it up that position, it was quite well done of me to actually keep my composure and keep that car steady. Arc making the overtake on the inside, so it looks like it wasn't him who spun out on that behind this. Oh, this is where he spins out. Arc Bagaro. That is a little bit unfortunate. I wonder who caused the first safety car then. I actually thought it was him. So it was someone else. I think it was his teammate. It was also a Red Bull, so a little bit confusing. Getting that overtake down on Worm Puzzle, I really had to send it to make that happen into that first sector. Going through the S's again, it was really hard to keep my tires up to temp to actually get around this corner safely enough. Usually I just keep it in 6th and then I feather the throttle going around there, and this race that just didn't work. I don't know if I had my brake bias not in an optimal place, or if it was just bad driving in general. Maybe I was just trying to push it too hard. So I still got to figure that out and maybe learn from my mistakes during this race. This is one of my worst tracks, so I was actually really proud of the way I performed. The fact that we could even make our way up the field was, quite surprising. Right now we're in 13th place. We came from second to last. The only car being behind us was Olympic, but he was only behind us because he wasn't able to take part in qualifying due to a penalty from previous races. So that is unfortunate from his end, but we just moved up a couple positions and we can't complain. Going into the middle sector and taking it quite well, getting a good exit right there. You could see us catching up to the guy ahead. Going through the S's and once again getting a little bit loose on that exit. It's a little bit disappointing because I practiced that sector so hard, but in the race I just couldn't get it right. It looks like we got another safety car and slowing down, trying to keep the delta in the positive.
Slow down, maintain positive delta.
Mario going into the pits and we just do the opposite. Hopefully we end up that ends up paying off for us later on in the race. I wonder what tire he's gonna go onto. He might just go onto the hard and try and stick it out to the end of the race from here. Lap 9 behind the safety car.
Okay, let's get ready.
Safety car will come in this lap. So now I want to see how I manage my tires, getting them back up to temp. Most of the cars are all on medium, so they have the same struggle, I guess. So No excuses. Now it's going to be about who has the best tires on the restart. Going into the back of Zivan, as I told you, he has a little bit of an internet issue, as you can see right there, and I'm losing so much time because of that.
You're in the top 10 now. Keep it up.
Zivan sticking in the slipstream. I'm wanting to just stay on the line and hope for the best from there. That's my best bet. Not to do things I'm not used to. As I said, I'm driving on controller with no assist, so I want to make sure I'm in the right line at all times. Zivan disconnecting once again there after slowing down, and then, just teleporting in front of me once again. It was so weird. Starting that middle sector, getting a good counter steer right there, a little bit loose on the exit. You could see that my rear is snapped out right there. So I did well to keep it in shape, I guess. Going into the S's. Can I keep it steady? No, I can't. Going up to 5th. I should have gone up to 6th gear right there and just feathered the throttle. But I think that I try to do it in 5th just to see how that goes for me. But not a good time to do so because I got humid on me, giving me a little bit of a bump, showing me that he's there. He's the second fastest driver on track. I don't know what happened to him, but he ended up behind me, and I let him pass right there, going deep into the last sector. He gets past, fair enough. Gave him just enough space to make that happen, and then cut the guy on the inside off, and I feel like that was all fair. Very good racing. Jumping to the next lap, again in the S's, and you can see I just can't get that right. Letting 3 cars by me right here. Mario, Scars, and someone else. And Marsh. So 3 drivers right there, letting them all through after they pitted behind the safety car on the previous laps. And they finally made their way through on the newer tires. Dropping myself from 10th all the way down to 13th. About to get that ERS, open the flap. That DRS, my bad. I'm actually out of ERS at this point in the race, so it's a little bit disappointing because from here on out, ERS was, almost non-existent for me. Every time I gained a little bit, I had to use it. As you could see, going around that first sector, gained 10% ERS from 0. And then I had to use it immediately. Going around the middle sector again right here, up to 10% once again, and having to do the same thing on the exit. So ERS was a very hard thing to manage during this race. Just like the tires, I just couldn't get it right. I don't know how the guys top 5 got it right, but well done to them. Going up the inside of Zivan, getting it all wrong.
Nice work, mate. That brings you.
That's not the place to make the overtake, but he was going so slow and I was unaware of what could happen. Aphrodite giving me a little bit of a bump and going past once again. I'm sure he also might have made a pit behind the safety car. Going a little bit deep just in case somebody sends it up the inside. Holding it off, going around the last corner, coming into the straight. Keeping it nice and steady. Little bit of a snap from the rears, but not too much. We were able to handle that quite well, not losing that much time to Aphrodite ahead that has so much more pace than us. So using him as a reference is quite fair. Going into turn 1, you can see Helly's wanted to make the send up the inside and decided not to. Getting a good chicane. Very good exit, and we get the DRS just as a bonus. Helly's behind us, half a second behind. Trying to go up the inside. Just cutting him off. Little snap of oversteer. He might actually be right on my tail. 3 tenths behind. He gained 2 tenths in that sector. Going into the S's. Once again getting loose. I just could not keep it straight. Going very, very wide. I'm sure he will get the overtake right here. I feel like he might have also made a mistake because now he's lost a 10th in that sector. He's got somebody fighting with him on him. He's having to defend. It's one of the Mercedes drivers. Won't puzzle. Getting a big snap of oversteer once again right there in the last corner. Going into the straight. Lap 15. Haley got the DRS. You can see I just give him the space and let him pass. See if we can make him make a mistake. Hopefully take advantage of that. Going into the first sector chicane. Getting a good counter steer. Taking a nice and tight. Going up to third. Almost losing the rear, but managing that quite well. This time he gets the DRS, a double DRS on that first sector.
The grip levels are going to start falling away soon.
Very good time to make the overtake behind the DRS right there, because then you get both DRSs instead of one. So that is quite smart. I don't know if he intended that, but well done. Taking it easy through the S-bends. As you can see, this might be one of the only laps I actually got it right. Oh, not really. Going a little bit off track right there. That would have definitely been an invalid if we're talking time trial. The strategy is going to be really important. If there's another safety car, I wonder if we can maybe go onto the hards and stick it out to the end. Or would it be smarter to go onto mediums once again? Because we've already done 15 laps on these mediums. A couple of which were behind the safety car, but that's how it is. We still got to count them. Haley just pulling away from us in that first sector. Venom in front of him is on the hards, and somehow he's doing quite well on those hards. So if I have to go on the hards, I wonder how those hards are going to treat me. If this was the right time to do so, or if later in the race was the right time to do so, because you can see he's actually managing them quite well, not losing too much time to myself and Haley on the mediums. Behind us we got Corsair and Worm Puzzle on the softs, going through the S's, getting it all wrong, and now we got Corsair on us. Getting that slipstream. I brake really hard there and Corsair ends up going but into the back of me. That was unfortunate. I really broke quite early there, and I was taking it cautious because of our tires dropping off. He obviously had newer tires, and therefore it was history. I will say that I feel like that was my fault and not his fault. So it was a racing incident. They do brake a lot later, and he had fresher tires. So going into the pits right here, getting a good pit entry. Getting those boys to work.
Okay, off we go, back into the race. Perfect job.
7.4 seconds. Stop time after the wing.
Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound.
Getting another good pit exit. So getting back into the race, and we are currently last. The position wasn't much of a factor to me during this race because of the fact I knew they did have more pace than me, majority of them. The question was how they performed in the race and if they could keep it consistent, as most of them did. But unfortunate for that incident, we were up into 10th place right there.
We're currently at the back, that's last place. Our gap to the car in front is 11.6 seconds. Okay.
Our first outlap out on the hards.
No more scheduled pit stops.
The hards were
18 laps to go.
the devil. Let's put it that way. The hards were really difficult over the course of this race. So trying to get used to them right here, get them up to temp, and see how we could treat the hards and how they could treat us. I don't have much experience on the hards around this track, so it might have not been the smartest thing for me to go onto the hards, but seeing majority of the other drivers were also going onto hards, I decided to try them out myself, going around the S's. A little bit slow, but the hards were gripping. They were actually gripping. I was definitely taking it easy through those S's. You could see that by the... So jumping all the way to my next pit, it was fairly uneventful. So I decided, you know, I'm gonna have to leave out some of the boring pieces in the race, and you know, in between those hards, I just could not actually get them to temp and manage them well. So I decided to pit and go for softs, hoping that there would be a safety car, because now we're on lap 27 and there's only 9 laps remaining, meaning that these softs could probably go to the end. If there's any safety cars or any issues, we would be on the faster tire and we wouldn't have to pit. So that's what I decided to do, is pit, go into the soft, see if we can get our fastest lap of the race, and then go from there. So we got Azure behind us, about to make the overlap. That's the first place driver out there behind us, about to actually overlap us. But what I try to do is actually use him as a bit of a reference on how fast these softs can be later on in the race, and see if we can maybe pull away from him. Knowing that he is the fastest driver on track, he is probably going to catch us at some point. But I decided just to use him as a reference until he does catch us. Getting a good last sector right there, going into the start of lap 28. So going around the final sector, and not bad, not getting too loose. These softs are treating us well so far. Maybe this might have been the right tire to start our race on. As you can see, we had a very good first sector, our best of the race, so let's see what the middle sector does to us. Getting nice and wide. Taking the S's, the best of the race for me. That was maybe the first actual lap I could get those S's right and take it with a reasonable pace, having that pressure from behind, from the lap leader, the track leader, the race leader. My bad. I'm out here tripping up. Zivan ahead of us is 30 seconds ahead of us. The difference is, I'm sure he's gonna have to pit at some point, but jumping to the 34th lap after a fairly uneventful race, after that us getting yeeted by Corsair, if I'm not mistaken. But as I said to you, I'm sure it was a racing incident. Now,
create a gap and let the car behind through.
Azure has finally caught up to the back of us on lap 34. Us being a lap behind him at this point, we know that we are going to finish the race on lap 35 instead of lap 36. So this is just inevitable. I let him pass right there, give him the outside. This was a very good race overall. I feel like I learned a lot. I feel like this is one of our worst tracks, as I said earlier on in the video, and I had to practice very, very hard to keep consistent. So, you know, if it wasn't for those incidents, I feel like we could have done quite well and possibly even got a top 10. So I'm unsure, but that's what I would hope for based on my experience and based on you know, the consistency I had. So it's a little bit unfortunate, but it was a very fun race. I really enjoyed it, practiced very hard and learned a lot. So it was an honor to race against these guys, and I won't complain. Racing is racing, and yeah, that's what it's about, bro. That's what it's about. You never know what's gonna happen. You never know how the tires are gonna treat you, and if you're gonna be able to adapt to conditions and situations. So for the final lap, going around that final sector and getting the S's wrong once again. Once my tires are up to temp and possibly slightly overheating, I feel like I could have changed that brake bias a little more over the course of the race. And that's the race for us. Well done to Azure getting the win right there. He is a top 10 driver in the world on this track, so well done to him, and he deserved that win. He really managed his car the best he probably could, and yeah, I'm sure he's very proud of himself. Well done. But on the other hand, I was you know, a little bit disappointed with the outcome on my end, but you know, it went as best as we could hope for, I guess. So unfortunate, but we couldn't change it, so we're not going to complain. We're going to move on. Hopefully in the next race we perform better. So well done to all the guys who competed in this race. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys. Remember to subscribe, like the video if you like the video. I put a lot of work into it. Let's get it, my guys. Peace.